Most people think that buying a new construction home is a piece of cake, but that is only if you know the process. This video is going to walk you through what buyers wish they knew before purchasing that new construction home. So what is the process when you're buying a new construction property? It's long. Are you ready for the list? So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to find the neighborhood. And that might seem like an easy thing, but there are so many new construction areas. So we build a strategy about where you actually want to live in the Las Vegas Valley, Henderson, or North Las Vegas. And then you pick the floor plan. After all these beautiful model homes that you walk through, narrowing it down could be a little difficult. Then you actually pick the lot. So that's where you want to live in the neighborhood. And that could be by price or it could be by location. Some lots have smaller lot premiums. And if location is super important to you of where you're at in the neighborhood, that could mean that you're also waiting for that lot to become available. So after we pick the lot, then you go to contract and pick your structural options. So structural options can only be picked if you're building from dirt, because that means that those permits have to be filed differently with the city. And it may sound out of order, but many times you get to this point without ever getting pre-qualified. Not in all cases, but in many. So now you're going to get pre-qualified with probably the builder's lender. And then you're going to actually sign the contract for all the structural options that you've chosen, the lot that you've chosen, and the floor plan that you've chosen. Then after you go to contract, you'll be set up with a design center appointment where you're going to go in and pick out all of the features that you want in this home, down to the doorknobs. And that is probably going to be a 4 to 8 hour process depending on the size of your home. Then the building starts. Once the building starts, you're gonna feel like there's nothing going on in this process, but you can actually, like I did, drive by, see what they're doing, they'll pour the foundation, they'll do all of these steps, and it's still going to be extremely exciting. Well, after the framing is up, which is the sticks are up, you're going to be able to do your frame walk. And what this allows you to do is walk through the bones of your home and make sure that, did you have a ceiling fan that you wanted in this one particular room? Well, did they put the junction box in? Do they actually have everything in the home that you picked as far as the electrical is concerned in your frame walk? Next up is your final walkthrough. And it'll seem like there's a lull again in this process between your final walk and your frame walk because everything is going up at this point. Your home is just about perfect, ready for you to move in by the time you do your final walk. And so that is going to be when you're going to do what they call a blue tape walkthrough. So anything that you notice, whether it's paint, stucco repair that needs to be done, maybe it's the wrong appliances, maybe there's a crack in the foundation, or you can see the drywall tape, whatever those imperfections are in your final walkthrough, they're going to notate it and then get it repaired, hopefully before you move in. Generally now, there is about a 7-day time frame between your blue tape walk and signing your loan docs. And that gives them enough time to actually do the repairs that you found during your blue tape walk. So once you sign your loan documents, you're going to have a recording and funding period, which usually is going to be maybe the same day that you sign or maybe the next day, but your lender is going to fund your loan, and then the title company is going to send your deed to the county to be recorded from the builder's name into your name, making you a homeowner. And then you're going to get your keys from the builder and you are ready to move on in to your home. So it might seem like a very easy process, but there are quite a few steps and it takes a little bit of time. Some of the common misconceptions that you might hear or maybe you've experienced are that building starts right away, and that simply isn't true. There are a few steps that have to take place before they actually start building on your lot, because they have to get all of your structural options. They want to make sure that you're able to perform, so they're going to wait until that at least pre-approval comes in from the lender. Another thing that you may not know is that your design appointments can take a really long time. So make sure when you're setting your design center appointments to pick out all of your fixtures and finishes, that you ask them how long they expect it to take. Because if it's going to take you 8 hours, then you're going to need to take off the entire day. And they don't work weekends. So it's probably going to be a work day that you're going to have to call in. And which lot you pick in the neighborhood is going to depend on actually when the building starts. So if you have your heart set on one specific lot in that neighborhood, that lot might not be released until several phases down the line. And speaking of phases, every phase means that the prices go up. And that is probably on the lot and on the floor plan as well. And phases could be anywhere from 3 to 5 homes sold. So if you go today and get a price on a floor plan, it's not necessarily going to be the same price if you go in a month later, because they could already be on their next phase. And I'm asked all the time, why should I use a realtor? I can go in there by myself and work with the on-site sales agents. And while that is completely true, what a good realtor brings to the table is they are your emotional buffer. When things go wrong, when something doesn't happen exactly how you wanted, or when you're having a hard time with even your design appointment not overbuilding for the neighborhood, we are there to bring you back, remind you of what was important, remind you of what other people in the neighborhood are doing so that you're not overdeveloping for the area, and so that you have some place where you can even just vent as to how difficult sometimes this process can be. And then we also keep an eye on the timelines. Where are we at? Are we on schedule to get this thing closed when we were told that it would get closed? When is your frame walk? When are you going to have your final walkthrough? Usually 30 days after cabinets go into your kitchen, you're signing on the dotted line. Do we know when that's going to be? So knowing the process is vitally important. And then we also have the relationships with the on-site sales agents. And so we're able to easily get information so that we're all working together to get you into the home of your dreams. Here's a personal story of why I firmly believe that you should have a realtor representing you on a new home purchase. I have a client who didn't take me on their first visit to go see their home. And if you didn't know, that's the only time that you can say that you have a realtor outside of the on-site sales agents representing you. You have to bring them with you on your first visit. Then they can be your outside representation. But my client was so excited to see this new development. She was like, what's it gonna hurt if I just walk in? I won't give them my name and I'll just go see these model homes. Well, she ended up going under contract on this home in a subdivision without using me, and she didn't understand the process. She didn't understand the timeline. And in this particular community, the on-site agent wasn't great at conveying that information to her. And she ended up not liking where the lot was that she chose. She decided that she was going to cancel the contract, and she was unaware that she was going to lose her earnest money deposit if she canceled. And so this is something that I would have instructed her in had we been working together. I could have made her aware. But because I wasn't able to represent her, she didn't know and ended up losing her earnest money. So just for things like that, make sure you have your own representation. And as a side note to that, the on-site sales agents don't make the final call with these things. They don't make the final call if you're allowed to be represented, if they come on a subsequent visit, or if they're going to keep your earnest money. That is a higher up in the company making that decision. The on-site sales agents really are great at what they do, but keep in mind, they don't have the final say. If you're new to my channel, I'm Eileen Guilbeault, your go-to real estate advisor for all things relocating to Las Vegas. Make sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you're notified every time a new video comes online. Let's continue. Let's talk about some lessons that me and my clients have learned throughout this process. One of them is that you can negotiate upgrades. You can negotiate the cost of your lot. And this is something that has been learned through trial and error on my part and on my client's part, because I didn't know to start with that you could negotiate those things. So all they can do is say no. You can ask for a reduction in a lot that maybe they're having a hard time selling. If they say no, awesome. Or maybe they come back with a counter offer, but you can actually submit an offer on a lot and see what they come back with. Another thing that I've learned is that you can bring an interior designer with you to your design center appointment. And where this is beneficial is that the design center, they are great at what they do, but they are not interior designers. So you can hire an interior designer who is very proficient in how to make that home feel exactly how you want it to feel. So don't be afraid to hire somebody to come in with you so that you get exactly what you want from your design center appointment. Another lesson is to make sure that you know whether or not there is a hitch attached to you getting closing costs covered by the builder. At times, they'll offer a certain percentage of closing costs that will be covered. But if you don't use their lender, a lot of times they will not offer that incentive to you. So make sure that if they're offering the closing cost incentive, that you're actually doing your part and using the lender that they asked you to. Otherwise, you're going to miss out on that incentive. Another regret that one of my clients has had is that they did not discuss with the on-site sales agent what other people in the neighborhood were putting in their home as structural options. And where this comes into play is when you go to resell that property. So they put in probably $150,000 in upgrades in their home. However, there were other people in the neighborhood that probably put maybe $200,000 or $250,000 in upgrades in their home. Things like a floating staircase, which my client upgraded the staircase, but it wasn't a floating staircase. The other thing is that they didn't put in the glass enclosed walk-in shower, and everyone else in the neighborhood that was reselling did. So they did do the enclosed shower, but it was the drywalled feature because they wanted to cut back on the cleaning that it would take. But if you're looking at the resale value, you have to look at what people want so that as you go to sell it down the line, that you have what people are looking for in your home. So even if you don't ultimately end up adding things that other people are adding, at least you know that when you go to sell, the price you get for your home could be a little bit less than other people who are putting more upgrades in their home. So I'm curious, if you were in this situation, what would you have done differently? Share your thoughts in the comments. Now let's talk about delays. Delays are going to happen. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. From labor shortage to material shortage, I mean, we saw this constantly during the pandemic. Luckily, those have a little bit subsided, but even if, let's just say, you pick a tile that is no longer in stock once it actually comes to putting the tile in your home, then you may have a delay while waiting for additional material, or you may have to swap out the tile that you chose. So there are going to be delays. One of the ways that you can actually prepare for unexpected delays is to push the timeline out 30 days. So let's just say you have a December 1st that your home is going to be done. Don't make any final decisions on moving date or anything else until maybe January 1st. That way, if there are delays, you're not having to reschedule everything. And if you do happen to close on time, then you can always get people to come in sooner, or you can even start moving in slowly, and that takes some of the pressure off, especially if you're going to do any type of upgrades. If you're going to take out the builder flooring and put in new flooring, that gives you a buffer to be able to do those things. So expect the best, but prepare for the worst. And as you know, patience is a virtue. And by this time in the process, your patience may have ran thin. But just know that you are just that much closer to being in your dream home. And remember that while you are so anxious to get in, there are so many things that could come up, especially with kids, with pets, with everything that you need to juggle to get everyone into this new property. So we will keep you on the timeline that we hope that the builder sticks to, but if there are any delays, just use me as a resource so that we can get anything that comes up handled so that you're still on track to really enjoy this home. For more videos about relocating to Las Vegas and real estate tips, make sure to watch one of the videos on your screen. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you the next time.